Zahir, Kelvin and Abdullah, and this is Nightline. The top stories: Malaysia and India to strengthen cooperation across key sectors, promote ringgit-rupee use in bilateral trade. Also, Thailand PM Anutin's party in the lead with counting underway, while Japan's Takaichi forges stunning election win. Good morning. Votes are being counted as Thailand's Conservative Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul heads towards victory in Sunday's general election, with his party set to be by far the largest in parliament after riding a wave of nationalism. With 79% of the votes counted, Anutin's Boom Jai Thai party has won 177 seats, while its closest rival, People's Party, claimed 80 seats. Pheu Thai won 79 seats and Kla Tam Party took 59 seats. There are 500 seats in parliament. Speaking at party headquarters in Bangkok on Sunday night, Anutin described his party's victory as a victory for all people. He added that Boom Jai Thai has received a clear signal to administer the country and that it accepts this task under the democratic regime with the king as head of state. Anutin, however, emphasized that Boom Jai Thai would wait for official election results first before asking others to join a coalition government. It would be a stunning turnaround for Anutin, whose party came third at the last election and who was only installed as Prime Minister by Parliament in September after two predecessors from Pheu Thai were ousted by the courts. Anutin called the snap election in mid-December, a move analysts said was timed by the Conservative leader to capitalize on a surge in nationalist sentiment. Earlier, voters in Thailand came out in numbers for a general election defined by a three-way battle between conservative, progressive and populist camps. Front-runner Natapong Roing Panyawut, leader of the Progressive People's Party, voted in Bangkok as his party entered the election as the front-runner in pre-election polls. However, the party's reform agenda on the military, courts and monopolies faces opposition from rivals likely to unite against it. Meanwhile, caretaker Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul of the Boom Jai Thai party went to the polls in Buriram and is viewed as the royalist military establishment's preferred candidate. He has focused his campaign on economic stimulus and national security, tapping nationalist sentiment after deadly border clashes with Cambodia. Pheu Thai's candidate Yot Chawnwan Wongsawat, former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawat's nephew, also voted as the party campaigned on economic revival and cash handouts, but is expected to lose support after its last coalition was blamed for mishandling the Cambodia conflict and Thaksin was jailed. Elsewhere in Asia, Japan's ruling coalition is set to win a two-thirds majority in the lower house election in what would be a big victory for Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi. According to local media NHK, the coalition, made up of Takaichi's Liberal Democratic Party LDP and junior partner Japan Innovation Party, is certain to win at least 328 out of the 465 seats. LDP alone has already secured the 233 seats needed for a majority less than 2 hours after the polls close. A strong mandate would significantly bolster Takaichi's political standing, both among voters and within her own party, where she had faced criticism over the timing of the election. In her first remarks since polls closed, Takaichi promised to implement responsible fiscal policy. Takaichi, 64, called the rare winter snap election to capitalize on her buoyant personal approval ratings since she was elevated to lead the long-ruling LDP late last year. Earlier, millions of Japanese braved the snow on Sunday to vote in the snap election. However, voter turnout as of 6 p.m. local time, which was reported to be nearly 4.6 million people, was 3 percentage points lower than the 2024 general election. The drop has been attributed to the weather. Several areas, including Niigata Prefecture in central Japan, reported heavy snow on Sunday. 37 train lines and 58 ferry routes were closed and 54 flights cancelled as of Sunday morning. Back at home front, Malaysia and India have agreed to strengthen cooperation across key strategic sectors, including the economy, education and defense, while expanding the use of local currencies in bilateral trade and investment. The agreement was reached during talks between Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim and his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi, who is on a 2-day official visit to Malaysia. Earlier on Sunday, Prime Minister Modi was accorded an official welcoming ceremony at the Perdana Putra complex in Putrajaya, where he was received by Anwar upon his arrival at 9 a.m. The ceremony included the playing of both national anthems and an inspection of the Guard of Honour. The two leaders later held a closed-door, one-on-one meeting at Sri Perdana, followed by the exchange of 11 memoranda of understanding covering new areas of strategic cooperation. Both leaders expressed confidence that bilateral trade would continue to grow, surpassing 74 billion ringgit in value.
One remarkable feat is this decision to use local currency as far as possible. And Bank Negara Malaysia and CBI has worked on this area for ringgit Malaysia and rupee in bilateral trade and investment.
Beyond economic cooperation, Malaysia and India also agreed to strengthen collaboration in disaster management, anti-corruption efforts, labour affairs and international peacekeeping missions.
In my discussions with Prime Minister Modi, it is not just normal pious platitudes and diplomatic exchanges. It is an exchange between true friends, full of trust and understanding.
Anwar also noted that the deep historical ties, strong people-to-people linkages and ever-expanding economic cooperation will continue to deepen collaboration in all fields. Meanwhile, Anwar has welcomed India's decision to open a new consulate in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, describing it as a reflection of the strong and growing ties between the two countries.
As a sign of our good relations, I immediately have agreed to support the decision of the government of India to open a consulate of India in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah.
The establishment of the consulate is expected to facilitate trade and investment while strengthening support for the Indian community and businesses operating in Sabah and the surrounding region. Both countries have also agreed to deepen cooperation in tourism and connectivity, including through visa liberalization and the expansion of air travel links between Malaysia and India.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now concluded our joint...
Negotiations over a commercial plantation land dispute involving the Federal Land Development Authority (FELDA) and the Terengganu state government are reportedly close to being finalized. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said the resolution would be announced soon.
Hampir selesai. Kita telah mengadakan perbincangan dengan siswa kerajaan negeri dan juga bahagian BKF, bahagian kawalan FELDA, kita telah adakan perbincangan. InsyaAllah akan diselesaikan dalam waktu yang paling terdekat.
Zahir, who also serves as Rural and Regional Development Minister, spoke to reporters after officiating the ministry's 2026 residential program in Kuala Nerus, Terengganu. Late last year, the Terengganu government had issued notices to prohibit trespassing across 10 FELDA plantations spanning 15,000 hectares. The action follows the state's claim that the land has been developed for over 40 years without the payment of premiums, taxes or profit shares. The Education Ministry is expecting strong enrollment of 6-year-olds into Year 1 next year, particularly in urban areas. Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq said the projection was based on preliminary mapping, which show that parents in cities have been more receptive to the move, even though registrations have yet to open.
Dan sekarang ini kita tumpukan kepada mapping kawasan-kawasan sekolah-sekolah untuk kita segera buat tambah baik, khususnya untuk fasiliti, capacity dan juga mengoptimumkan kawasan-kawasan yang kita jangka akan menerima limpahan pelajar ini pada tahun hadapan.
To prepare for the move, the ministry plans to recruit up to 20,000 more teachers. Efforts also include optimizing existing classroom capacity and adding new classrooms through the Industrialized Building System, or IBS, to accommodate the increase in student numbers. Registration for Year 1 intake for the 2027 academic year will be conducted online from February 15 to March 31st. Parents are allowed to manage social media accounts for children under the age of 16, but full supervision remains essential. Communications Minister Datuk Fahmi Fadzil said this is in line with the government's plan to restrict the opening of new social media accounts by underage users. Speaking after officiating the Safer Internet Day event in Kuala Lumpur on Sunday, Fahmi stressed that the responsibility lies entirely with the parents if they choose to create and operate accounts on behalf of their children.
Sekiranya ibu bapa yang membuka akaun untuk anak-anak, maka kontrol pengawasan akaun itu adalah pada ibu bapa. Jadi saya tahu ada ibu bapa yang anak-anak mereka menjadi influencer ataupun content creator. Tapi bukan anak-anak yang sendiri upload. Jadi dikawal, diuruskan oleh ibu bapa.
Parents were also reminded not to expose their children's personal data online, as it could be misused or manipulated by irresponsible parties, including sexual predators. Fahmi highlighted that advances in artificial intelligence can now be exploited by cyber criminals, including pedophiles, to manipulate images and content into harmful material. As such, the government is currently studying proposals to regulate the licensing of AI applications to prevent the misuse of such technology. Meanwhile, Fahmi said the government has assured that the Sumbangan Asas Rahmah or SARA assistance program will run smoothly ahead of its official implementation on Monday. He explained that the My Kasih Foundation, which manages data for the program, has upgraded its system, including increased bandwidth capacity to ensure seamless access for recipients.
Setelah mempelajari apa yang perlu kita lakukan untuk elak daripada masalah sistem yang sebelum ni berlaku di hujung tahun 2025. Jadi beliau telah memaklumkan pihak NGO My Kasih yang menguruskan pengkalan data telah meningkatkan jumlah bandwidth.
Starting Monday, 22 million MyCard holders aged 18 and above can claim the 100 ringgit aid under the program. Independent preacher Zamri Vinoth and activist Tamim Dahri Abdul Razak have been remanded for 2 days. Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Datuk Fadil Masus said the duo were among 19 individuals who were detained while attending a planned rally at a shopping complex in the federal capital on Saturday night.
Kita telah menjalankan tangkapan dan kita telah menangkap 19 lelaki, 4 perempuan. Termasuklah subjek bernama Zamri dan saya mengesahkan tangkapan itu, dan juga subjek yang bernama Tamim Dahri.
Fadil added that police have opened investigations papers under the Sedition Act, the Penal Code and the Communications and Multimedia Act against the two. The other 17 individuals who were detained have been released on bail. The city's top cop said the decision to ban the rally was made after a comprehensive assessment of security risks. So far, 131 police reports have been filed in connection with the gathering. Landing your first job is a big milestone, often the first step into adulthood. And with a steady income comes the aspiration to build a future. But how attainable are these goals today? Nightline's Muhammad Nadir Azfar reports.
For many young Malaysians, their monthly wage are struggling to keep up with daily expenses.
As this continues, many of their life decisions, such as home ownerships and marriages, are increasingly being put on hold.
A 2023 report by the Statistics Department shows graduates entering the workforce earn between 4,409 and 4,933 ringgit a month. Even as inflation moderates in Malaysia, that can still fall short of what's needed to cover daily life in cities.
The city life is very, very demanding. In all different aspects, like a lot of aspects, not just the living costs. So yeah, probably no.
Parking in KL, your petrol, looking at the current situation, this is economical. That's why people prefer nowadays to go outside Rawang that side, because of this kind of things.
Untuk saya rasa mungkin cukup makan lah untuk saya seorang lah.
Tapi kalau dah berkahwin ke apa, rasa cukup ke tak?
Kalau berkahwin tu mungkin kena cari duit lebih lah kot.
For those dreaming of buying a house, Hazanah Research Institute's Nur Fariza Mustafa said data shows monthly income remains the main barrier preventing young Malaysians from owning their own homes.
If we were to compare the income distributions of the entire population of Malaysia to that of those under 30, we can see that actually younger people, those under 30 years old, their income distribution actually sits lower than the general population.
While renting does offer an alternative to home ownership, even then, the options are often limited and costly.
So for rentals, one of our latest analysis has actually shown that for Kuala Lumpur at least, a person has to earn at least 3,000 ringgit to afford the cheapest rental housing in the city. For a person who earns about 3,600 ringgit, they are only able to afford about 10% of the total offerings in condominium or apartment or service apartment types of units, which make up about 70% of what is on offer for rentals in the city.
Meanwhile, University Malaya's Faculty of Business and Economics Deputy Dean of Research, Professor Izlin Ismail, noted that the most important financial step for young Malaysians is to plan and budget wisely.
Saving is never whatever is left over, because you'll find that you never have enough left over. So as your salary increases over time, allocate a bigger portion of your salary towards saving, and let that saving accumulate in some safe assets at first.
Younger people are also advised to be patient and keep their savings in safe, low-risk assets while carefully planning for future goals.
Nonetheless, over time, throughout my experience, is that nothing beats a safe asset in Malaysia. The risky assets really, when you lose big. That I'm not sure how long it'll take for you to recover from that loss. So stay in safe assets right now.
Despite the pressures of rising living costs, many young Malaysians are gradually finding ways to manage their finances. Over time, this resilience may help them navigate the path toward greater stability and independence. Muhammad Nadir Asfar, TV3.
Blaze rips through Sea Park Furniture Factory. This and more after this breather.
Macam mana Aira boleh terfikir dan Aira nak serahkan abang pada orang lain?
Aku tak nak kawan dengan kau. Sebab kau tadi... Sebab kau tadi...
Dah cakap apa ni?
Yes.
Aduh, sakit.
Sampai hati kau.
Oh, tak nak kawan dengan abang sebab tak ada tonton ke?
Yelah, kan RM9.90 je. Sekarang barulah boleh kahwin. Kawan.
Ini daripada Buletin Pagi.
Seorang jurujub,
seorang nelayan
menjadi penyampai berita memerlukan aura dan magis pada suara, keterampilan, keyakinan dan pesona. Kami mencari wajah baru Buletin TV3. Ayuh, serlahkan potensi anda menjadi suara yang dipercayai negara.
Anim, dulu zaman sekolah awak suka subjek apa?
Mestilah sejarah. Kita sebagai rakyat Malaysia kena tahu asal-usul negara kita.
Usus bocor jangan ambil mudah, boleh bawa mudarat pada badan.
Harga sama, tapi kenapa saiz makanan dan barangan semakin kecil? Nantikan kupasannya.
Cendawan emas punca rezeki dan pendapatan menguntungkan.
Harta anda disita atau dibekukan, apa perlu buat?
Semuanya di MHI, Isnin hingga Jumaat.
Eksklusif ditonton dan TV3.
Welcome back. The Tabung Amanah Sultan Kedah, or TASK, was officially launched on Sunday, marking a significant step towards strengthening structured and sustainable welfare initiatives in the state. The trust was established with the consent of the Kedah ruler, serving as a platform for the transparent and impactful collection and distribution of charitable funds to support the people of Kedah, particularly those in need. The launch ceremony was graced by the Sultan of Kedah, Al-Aminul Karim Sultan Salahuddin Sultan Badli Shah, who is the patron of the Welfare Trust. TASK is led by the Raja Muda of Kedah, His Royal Highness Tengku Sarafuddin Badli Shah Ibni Al-Aminul Karim Sultan Salahuddin as its president.
Kami sangat berterima kasihlah kepada penyumbang-penyumbang yang menyumbang sebanyak lebih 4 juta pada hari ini. Yang mana kami pun tak jangka sehingga akhir tahun 2025 sejumlah 2.04 juta ringgit telah diagihkan bagi memberi manfaat kepada komuniti di Kedah.
Founded in October 2022, the fund operates under 6 strategic pillars covering education, social welfare, healthcare, sports, the environment and animal protection. A furniture factory in Sea Park, Petaling Jaya, Selangor was destroyed after a fire ripped through the building on Sunday afternoon. The flames also spread to nearby structures in the densely populated area, prompting a swift emergency response. According to the Selangor Fire and Rescue Department, the team received the call at 1:32 p.m. and arrived on the scene about 6 minutes later. A total of 34 firefighters from the Damansara, Petaling Jaya, Jalan Penchala, Puchong and TTDI fire stations were deployed to contain the blaze. No casualties were reported. The cause of the fire and the total extent of the losses remain under investigation. In Pahang, police have arrested a man believed to be a drug dealer after he rammed into 5 vehicles. The incident occurred at around 3 p.m. in Kuantan when the suspect was stuck in traffic when trying to flee from officers on Jalan Datuk Wong Ajang. District Police Chief ACP Ashari Abu Sama said police detected the 27-year-old suspect after spotting a car being driven in a suspicious manner from Jalan Gambut to Jalan Semambu. The suspect then rammed into other vehicles after officers ordered him to stop. Police eventually arrested the man after he abandoned his car and fled on foot. Checks on the suspect led to the discovery of yaba pills and shabu worth approximately 2,300 ringgit. The man also tested positive for drugs and has several previous drug-related records. The case is being investigated under the Dangerous Drugs Act and the Road Transport Act. Protests in Milan turns violent. The details when Nightline returns.
Al-Quran sering mengingatkan kita untuk menjaga orang miskin, mereka yang memerlukan dan anak-anak yatim.
Berapa jumlah yang diperlukan?
450,000 untuk kos pembedahan dan pendidikan anak-anak.
Terima kasih sangat-sangat atas pertolongan hari itu. Dapat bayar yuran-yuran sekolah anak-anak asnaf semua sekali.
1, 2, 3. Sini Kak, lakonan Mina.
Terbaik.
135,000 dalam 48 jam.
I nak cuci duit, you ada tempat untuk I cuci duit.
duit dana tak dapat sepenuhnya.
Saya nak membersihkan ruang amal dan derma ni daripada penipuan.
Hari pergi mana, Kak? Satu Malaysia kenal kita sekarang ni. Muka kita dekat TV, dekat social media. Orang dah anggap kita ni penjenayah.
Abang hanya manusia biasa yang tak habis-habis buat salah.
Abi ingat Irfan ni pendera.
Dah terbukti pun.
Kita nak cari kebenaran, kan?
Saya nak you pastikan saya tak perlu naik kod.
Saya Inspektor Razak dari unit siasatan jenayah.
Kau mana tahu? Haikal tak nak jadi anak orang jahat.
Kau tak boleh sewenang-wenangnya nanti diri kau sebagai pengganti aku tanpa persetujuan aku.
Doa yang terlindung. Minggu akhir, Isnin hingga Jumaat 7 malam. Di Akasia TV3.
I tak sabar nak spend time dengan you.
Kalau dengan dia pun kepala otak I tu fikir you juga.
Dia duduk cakap telefon lama-lama. Mesti bercakap dengan perempuan.
Perhubungan macam ni biasanya hujungnya tak ke mana pun.
Ambil angin ke kau orang lain?
Abang balik sini elok-elok nak jumpa sayang. Tapi bila balik sayang cakap macam ni pula abang.
Sejak bila abang pada tinggikan suara Kak Ila?
Sheila dekat sebelah I tadi. Line tak clear.
You buat I rasa macam tak wujud langsung dalam hidup you. Kenapa?
Bisik Asmara. Isnin hingga Khamis 10 malam. Di Samarinda TV3.
Hamas's political leader abroad, Khalid Mishal, on Sunday rejected calls to disarm Palestinian factions in Gaza, arguing that doing so would leave an occupied people an easy victim to be eliminated. Mishal described the discussion around Hamas handing over its weapons as a continuation of a century-long effort to neutralize Palestinian armed resistance. He stressed that reconstruction and relief must come before disarmament and that Hamas's position has been communicated through mediators including Qatar, Turkey and Egypt. US President Donald Trump last month sought to achieve a comprehensive demilitarization of Hamas, threatening the Palestinian group with repercussions if it fails to do so. In other news, 6 people were arrested after police clashed with protesters in Milan, one of the host cities for the Winter Olympic Games, on the opening day of the competition. Thousands took to the streets of the northern Italian city on Saturday to protest a range of issues, including the rising cost of living. Some demonstrators fired flares and hurled stones at police, prompting officers to respond with water cannons. Saturday also saw disruption across parts of Italy's northern rail network, with suspected attacks causing delays that left passengers stranded for hours. Turning to sports football, the Malaysia Cup. Trigo Morais emerged as the hero as Selangor FC narrowly defeated Negeri Sembilan FC 1-0 in the first leg of the quarter-final at Tuanku Abdul Rahman Stadium on Sunday night. The Brazilian forward appeared to have opened the scoring in the 76th minute from Ahmad Zikri Khalili's cross, but the goal was ruled out after a VAR review. Morais, however, shook off the earlier disappointment and kept pressing his opponents, scoring the match's only goal from a 95th minute penalty. The second leg will be held at the MBPJ Stadium on February 14. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look at thousands of colourful kites filling the skies over Lahore as Basant, Pakistan's biggest kite flying festival, returns after almost 2 decades. With that, I'm Zahir, Kelvin, Abdullah. Thank you for watching and have a productive week ahead.